Right? So, yeah, continuing on what I was mentioning about being pardoned. So, being pardoned, you have to deal, begin on trial, and then it's a long process. So that is the patience, the long suffering you got to deal with at the same time. So you have to endure as a soldier when it comes to this truth. Right? So you're gonna have freaking potholes and this and that on your path that's coming to you. You know, it says on the path that there's fire on one side and water on the other. So it's not an easy path. You might have to crawl. You might have to slow walk with one limb. You know, at times it's all different. It's not always the same. So it's something you got to gracefully endure. So don't let that get in the way. Let me try to grab some scripts. So I should have did that first hand. What's going on here? Always something in the way. So let's see if we can find this. uh, so that's the one there. Oh man, excuse me. So, Philippians 2 and 5. Yeah, it says, "Let this mind be in you, which was in also Yahushua Hamashiach, who being in the form of God, Elohim, right? How Allah, in the form of Yahweh, I would say, that's like yeah, uh, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, Yahweh, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant." Right? So that even goes with us. Even though that we are children of the promise, but Yahushua is the only begotten Son, right? So he took on the role of being a servant, to the house of Israel, right? And this is the Prince of Princes, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. This is a man who has all titles, right? He's coming to take those titles, right? All these people claiming this and that, and this top shot and this and nah, man. You better, when the Lord shows up, all of that's gonna be played out. You're gonna want to give up all of that. It says every knee shall bow and confess. Right? When you get weak in the knees, I guess WV. Alright, so and was made in the likeness of men, right? And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself, right? So he humbled himself. He had the patience. He had to endure hardness as a soldier, even though that he's the Lord, right? The Lord of Lords on earth. And this is when he came in the flesh. Right? And even though he came in the flesh, he was the chief priest too, right? Melchizedek. Says being found in fashion, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, and even the death of the cross. Wherefore Yahweh also had highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name. Now remember I was talking about earlier with the name, right? That name is the holy name. It's above every name. Some people can have you can have a purple heart and all that shit. That don't mean nothing to this name. You could have saved countless souls physically. This name is above that. Right, which is Yahushai. That at the name of Yahushai, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth. That's power. That's power beyond your highly expectations. So yes, power in heaven and in earth. So what power does Esau have? He only has power here. He ain't got power in heaven. Continue. Let me see here. What else? And things in the earth and things under the earth. Jeez. Right. So that's power you can't buy. That's power you have to get by being chosen. Let me try this other one here, y'all. Says, and then every tongue should confess that Yahushua HaMashiach every tongue should confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh. La Abba, or is it Ha? I think it's supposed to be Ha, Slakia. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own Slakia. Beloved, as always obeyed us in my presence, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Let me see it in NLT. It follow my instructions. When I was with you, okay, it says, dear friends, you always followed my instructions when I was with you, and now I'm away. It is even more important work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying Yahweh with deep reverence and fear. So, fear and tremble, that's repenting, humbling, suffering, long suffering, and patience, and having faith. Right? It's a substance that is unseen. But you know. For Yahweh is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases Him. So see how Bashim Shai does that. It's none of our own this and that. The Most High tries us, and He gives us that inch by inch, right? And builds you up from there. NLT 14. Do everything without complaining and arguing. Yeah, because that's a woman's trait. Some things you have to just suck it up. You can pray about it, about certain things. But you got to bite the bullet at the end of the day. So I'm saying spiritually, not physically. You don't want to be doing this shit. 15. So that no one can criticize you. Live clean, innocent lives as children of Yahweh, shining in the bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. Hold firmly to the word of life. Then on the day of Yahushua HaMashiach's return, I will be proud that I did not run the race in vain, that my works was not useless. So without hope, right? But I will rejoice even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a wicked liquid offering to Yahweh, just like your faithful service is an offering to Yahweh, and I want all of you to share that joy. Yes, you should rejoice, and I will share your joy. Right? Because this is to build up, not just yourself, but those that have no hope to have the day of Yahweh Shai. So it's not just about yourself, because there's somebody out there that the Most High has just for them to listen to you and you to build them up. Because somehow you just connect. That's how the Most High works, just so they can build up. Because, the elders had their elders, apostles, bishops, they had their elders, right? So we got ours as them, and then under us, it's the same thing. There's, certain men that come and listen and endure in patience and suffers us, a small remnant, which is good, right? Because we don't need a whole bag of idiot on the corner, because this is not the place for that. You already had circumstances in the scriptures of Yahushai having those niggas coming around with the loaves of bread and things like that, right? So I guess it's tangible. want a loaf of bread and shit. And fish. So, you know, niggas always want something sweet in their belly, but can't take the bitterness, and this is his truth. His truth is sweet and his belly. It goes down bitterly because then you're gonna have to deal with the circumstances, right? And you're relating with those men that you've been reading about. You know, so you have to stomach that and endure as a soldier, right? Get that scriptures, man. This is 2 Timothy 2 and 3. Therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. Reading NLT, it says, endure suffering along with me as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach, or HaMashiach, Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahushua. So, soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life. Slakia, it's wrong. ISIS tripping. Soldiers don't get tied up in the affairs of civilian life, for then they cannot please the officer who enlisted them, which is Yahushua and Yahweh. And athletes cannot win the prize unless they follow the rules, and hard-working farmers should be the first to enjoy the fruit of their labor. Right, so it's the same. This is a harvest, and you're planting. This is husbandry, so you're spiritually planting, husbandry, doing all of these tasks, and, you know, but you don't see the thing physically, but you do see the prophecies happen physically. So it goes to show you that there's something happening here, you know, because of you having the understanding, that Yahushua giving you that understanding, right, and fearing him. Think about what I'm saying. The Lord will help you understand all these things. That's right. Always remember that Yahushua HaMashiach, a descendant of King David, was raised from the dead. This is the good news I preach. And because I preach this good news, I'm suffering and have been chained like a criminal. But the word of Yahweh cannot be chained. So I'm willing to endure anything if it will bring salvation and eternal glory in HaMashiach, Yahushua, to those Yahweh has chosen. You've been chosen. This is a trustworthy saying. If we die with him, we also live with him. That's a, you know, if we die with him, we live with him. That's a serious, very statement, and a very bold statement. And that's something I wish I could put on my t-shirt. If we endure hardship, we will reign with him. If we deny him, he will deny us. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny who he is. Yeah, so let that sink in your dome piece, you know, in the front lobe of your mind. You know, constantly endure. With that, I'm gonna finish up, and hopefully I'll come with another one. The spirit jumps on me again to grab another thing that I see in the news or anything. But build up your faith in these last moments, because there's nothing to enjoy here but the truth, right? To be able to physically hold it and read it, because there's going to come a point where you're going to have that faith on deck at all times, right? What's that scene in from, what was that movie? I think it was Platoon. there's a saying in there that Apostle Rakah always says, have your shit locked in at all times, or something, I believe it is. Just misquoting it, but I have to watch the movie again, but I remember what he had said, but I don't remember word for word. So slacky about that, but yes, you know that you're in the battle. At you know the battle's coming, right? A real exhausting long battle that you've been prepping for. With that, I'm gonna say shalom to the whole Folek. All praises due to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for this word. You know that Yahweh Shem Shalom to preach the gospel unto the whole Folek. Shalom.